Hello everybody, so nice to have you join me for another narrated walking tour. My name is Timothy and you're watching my YouTube channel. Today we are back at Permatang Damar Laut on the southeastern corner of Penang Island. We will continue our walk along the coast to Permatang Tepi Laut, but we will skip the stretch which we have already covered, except for the Permatang Damar Laut pillbox, because I want to show you the pillbox before and after the cleanup. But before we go any further, let me first give you our starting point coordinates. Key these coordinates into your GPS, Google Maps or Waze to be navigated to the Permatang Damar Laut signboard where we started walking. We are now walking through the Permatang Damar Laut new village. This village was created to resettle those who were affected by the expansion of the Penang International Airport. This was in the mid-1970s. Can you hear the sound of a plane landing? It's common here at Permatang Damar Laut. This place has changed a lot since the 70s. I can still remember a time when these houses are not here and this area comprised random farmhouses. I grew up in nearby Batu Maung and had to pass through Permatang Damar Laut on the way to town, so I'm familiar with this place since small. In front of us is Jalan Permatang Damar Laut. It used to be a 2-lane road but has been expanded to 4 lanes following the completion of the second Penang Bridge. By the way, if you enjoy virtual discovery of places like this, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And hit the notification bell so that I can notify you every time I upload a new video. This is Jalan Permatang Damar Laut. The road is going to cut across the airport land. The high rises we can see in the distance are in Bandar Pass and Sungai Arang. They include One Foresta and Forestville. Now we are walking through the Penang International Airport. The airport land occupies both sides of the road. As recently as the 1970s, the village of Permatang Damar Laut extended to here. Then the airport was expanded and the villagers living here would move out. However, Jalan Permatang Damar Laut could not be relocated, so it cuts right through the airport. And with every passing year, the traffic on this road continues to grow. But you will notice that this stretch of the road has no lampposts, as street lights may interfere with the airport landing lights. In front of us is Sungai Permatang Damar Laut. It's a stream that flows through the airport land into the sea nearby. Within the airport land, under a grove of trees, is the Permatang Damar Laut Muslim Cemetery. Although the village was relocated, the cemetery could not be moved, and so it remains within the airport land. This is Sungai Permatang Damar Laut. If you remember our previous video on the Permatang Damar Laut pillbox, we started walking from here. So I'm going to cut out a portion of this video because we are walking through the same stretch. And we are once again at the Permatang Damar Laut coast walking towards the pillbox. If you compare this video with the previous one, you will see that in the previous video, the pillbox was clean, while over here it is covered in graffiti. I will put the link to the previous video in the description so that you can compare the two. There's no difference in the interior of the pillbox. It is the same in both videos. The only difference is that over here, you can see a lot of graffiti added by people who have no appreciation of this war relic. Thankfully, there are also people who appreciate the relic. A group of youths from Generasi Penang embarked on scrubbing off the graffiti. My previous video was taken a few weeks after the cleanup, while this video was shot a month before the cleanup. So if you had seen my previous video, you saw the after video first. Here's the entrance into the pillbox. I didn't show it in the previous video. Now let's continue down the coast. The sea of Permatang Damar Laut is usually very calm, and often so still that it mirrors the sky. That's Indian almond. In Malay we call it ketapang. The scientific name is Terminalia catapa. This is beach morning glory or pokok tapak kuda. Its scientific name is Ipomoea pescapre. Look at the footprint in the sand. Is that a bird or a mammal? I have no idea. If you do, please tell me in the comment. Beyond the airport land is the village of Permatang Tepi Laut, and we are approaching it now. We are now at Permatang Tepi Laut. The coast here is strengthened with revetment to reduce erosion. No wonder the beach here is so clean. They have someone to sweep it. In the distance is another pillbox. It is almost washed into the sea. The beach is absolutely clean here. I don't see any trash, and even the dry leaves are raked up and disposed. Halo Encik. Encik kerja untuk siapa? MPPP? Ada kontrak untuk MPPP lah. Oh, MPPP untuk bersihkan pantai juga. Setiap hari you sapu lah. Itulah supaya ini bersih. And here's the Permatang Tepi Laut pillbox. It's in an advanced state of ruin. The pillbox is actually in the same design as the one we saw earlier, but it is so decayed we could barely make out its shape. The decades of weathering the elements and being battered by the sea in many storms has encrusted it with barnacles. And over here are the remains of the Permatang Tepi Laut pier. The wind is pretty strong here, so my apologies that you can hear it in the recording. We are reaching the end of the sandy beach. Beyond it is the revetment to protect the mouth of a river. The name of that river, depending on whom you ask, is either Sungai Bayan Lepas or Sungai Tiram. Personally, I call it Sungai Bayan Lepas because it flows from the Bayan Lepas waterfall. In future, I will do a video of the Bayan Lepas waterfall. In fact, there are so many places I want to cover. Just bear with me as I produce the videos one at a time. Here we are at the estuary. There are many piers or bagan along the river, built by the estuarine fishermen to haul up their catch. This path on the breakwater is a permatang or path on a bund and is the word in the names of Permatang Tepi Laut and Permatang Damar Laut. We are entering the village now. Can you hear the sound of another plane landing? Over here is the fisherman's wharf of Permatang Tepi Laut. There's also a small market for selling the catch of the day. Halo. Tengok. Tempat ini Permatang Tepi Laut, betul tak? Yang itu Sungai Bayan Lepas,
Mana ini?
Yang ini.
Sungai Tiram, nama dalam itu.
Sungai. Oh, dia kata Sungai Tiram.
Dia from Sungai Tiram.
Oh. I know there is a signage that says Sungai Tiram, but it's still Sungai Bayan Lepas to me. Let's go this way to view the riverside piers. The houses are built over the water's edge in between the mangrove trees. Let's find a better place to reach the riverside. Okay, this seems to be a better spot. It's a scenery that has changed little over generations, but it's one that may have its days numbered. As the world changes, so too will our way of life, and traditional fishing methods may have to give way to more modern, more efficient ways of fishing and of earning a living. From what I have heard, the state government is, in the most gentle way, helping the fishermen embrace better fishing methods and discard or move away from methods that depletes the environment. Very often, the best agent of change is training and career options. When these are made available, the fishermen have more opportunities to improve their lives. As far as I'm concerned, every individual in Penang should have the chance to enjoy the wealth that the state has to offer. And as the state continues to develop, the livelihood of the fishermen should likewise improve in tandem. What we are seeing here are pockets of the countryside that is gradually being engulfed by development. At times, change is inevitable, and trying to resist change is futile. Already, change is knocking on the door of Permatang Tepi Laut, and it will come in the form of a light rail transit line which will pass right through this village from the Penang International Airport towards the LRT depot on Island A, the first of 3 Penang South Islands. Of course, for those accustomed to their traditional way of life, change is treated with trepidation. The onus falls on the state government, therefore, to ensure that change is introduced to these estuarine fishermen in the most gentle way and the benefits of change clearly articulated. I have spoken to a few fishermen in this area and they are keen for change. Some of them remember the 1970s when the airport was expanded and villages in Permatang Damar Laut were relocated. The result is that those villagers get new houses and a significant improvement in their standard of living. Unlike their cousins at Permatang Damar Laut, the villagers at Permatang Tepi Laut were spared the relocation. Their village was not affected by the airport expansion. But on hindsight, some now felt that the opportunity for change and for a better life had slipped through. So, if ever the opportunity for change should come around, they will seize it and not let it slip away again. We are now walking along the country lane of Permatang Tepi Laut, but in a short while, we will reach the main road again. And here we are once more at the main road, Jalan Permatang Damar Laut. We are on the bridge across Sungai Bayan Lepas, aka Sungai Tiram. On the far side, across the bridge, is Kampung Binjai. I am going to the other side of the road now. Oh well, even this bridge calls the river Sungai Tiram. We will now walk along Jalan Permatang Damar Laut to get back to where we started. To our right is the village of Permatang Tepi Laut. In the distance are the hills of Permatang Damar Laut with the hiking trail to Pantai Esen. I have a video about that, I will put it in the description. We are now walking along Jalan Permatang Damar Laut in the direction of Batu Mount, and in a moment we will cross through the airport land again. The road was widened following the opening of the second Penang Bridge to support the increase in traffic. When I was growing up, it was just a 2-lane rural road. I went to primary and secondary school in Georgetown, which was an hour away by school bus. I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning in order to catch the school bus, which came at 6 a.m. My house was located between Batu Mount and Permatang Damar Laut. Back then, it was all countryside, with farms and paddy fields. There wasn't any housing estate in this area and not a single apartment or condominium. So much has changed since then. Do I miss the Penang of my childhood when this place was undeveloped? No, I don't. I can only remember how tough it was back then. People who grew up in town often harbor a romantic notion of the peaceful life in the countryside, but the truth is, it's no fun at all. Here's another plane coming to land. That's the sound I hear every day when I was growing up. On top of that, our taps often run dry, and if there's water at all, the water coming out of the tap is dirty or the pressure is low. We also frequently suffered blackouts. Often, the power would be out for no apparent reason. Every time there's a storm, we would be in fear that a tree will fall down and cause a blackout. Whenever that happens, it took many phone calls to get LLN, as Tenaga Nasional was known back then, to send their people over to fix the power. And if there's not enough, the countryside is crawling with snakes. Some occasionally get into the house. And to top it all off, there's flies and mosquitoes. Lots of mosquitoes. So do I miss the place of my childhood? I do not. Not one bit. but I have to say that this place has changed a lot since my childhood. The farms and paddy fields have made way for development, and with that, the flies, mosquitoes, and creepy crawlies have also largely disappeared. We are now crossing the stretch with the airport land on both sides of the road. This part has remained unchanged since 1979, when the airport was expanded and the villages relocated. But elsewhere, Batumau and Permatang Damar Laut have been transformed. There's now an industrial park here, housing estates, and as you can see in the horizon, the silhouettes of high-rise condominiums. You are not allowed to fly drones here, as it's in the path of incoming planes. I hope that through this YouTube video, I can preserve a snapshot of Permatang Damar Laut for posterity. Those are the guiding lights for incoming planes. They were already installed before the village was relocated. I can still remember, back in the early 1970s, those guiding lights would protrude among the village houses. Even back then, I was aware that those lights were pointing towards the runway, but the runway was totally obscured by the village. After the village was relocated, all the trees in the area was cleared to create this wide open space, and for the first time, the new airport terminal came into view. We could see it even as it was constructed, and it was so much larger than the previous airport terminal. Since then, that new terminal has been upgraded a few times, but it was huge even back then. And here comes another plane. It was underused for quite a while, leading some critics to ridicule the expansion as a white elephant. Nowadays, it's a white elephant no more, and in fact, it is running over capacity. Now we can see the upgraded airport terminal in the distance. And to our right is the Permatang Damar Laut Muslim Cemetery. It was left behind when the village around it moved out. It has become an enclave surrounded by airport land, albeit connected to Jalan Permatang Damar Laut by an access lane. Here's the entrance to the Permatang Damar Laut Muslim Cemetery. Now let's continue along Jalan Permatang Damar Laut. We are going to return to where we started earlier, so let's cross the road. To our right is the bridge across Sungai Permatang Damar Laut. We passed by here earlier if you recall. If not for the Penang International Airport, which caused part of Permatang Damar Laut to be transplanted to another site, the village would still be here today, and life would continue at a languid pace. But people are resilient. In their new village, life resumes, though in a neater setting. On the other side of the road is a driving school. It's possibly the only business activity allowed to intrude into what is otherwise an empty land. In my subsequent videos, we will continue our exploration of Penang Island and other places. We will cover both the famous tourist places as well as places off the beaten path. It doesn't really matter to me whether a place is famous or not. Every place is worth discovering, and I look forward to sharing what I know about each place with you. All my place information videos are added to a map so that you can point and click on locations I have covered and watch the video about it. It will be a continually expanding body of knowledge about places which in the past I have only been able to describe with text and photos, but now with videos as well. So that's the wrap for this video. If you enjoy it, please give it a like, share it, subscribe to this channel, and do hit the notification bell. And I look forward to bringing you another video very soon. Until we meet again, thanks for watching.